Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Today we call him Chancellor. Tomorrow, maybe Governor. Randy Thompson has the rundown.
Coming up, we have an extended interview with the Chancellor of the University and Community College System, one of Kenny Gwynn's recruits for Governor, Jim Rogers.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Daryl, Capurro, Martha Gould, and Larry Matheis. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
High-tech companies demand perfect world amenities. They require clean, reliable power, state-of-the-art fiber optic communications, and clean water sources. In a perfect world, companies would have immediate access to rail and interstate freeways. There would be 4-lane expressways that shorten shipping times and provide convenient commute routes for valued employees. Well, the future is now, and it's here. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada. Nevada Newsmakers is sponsored in part by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seem to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? They do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we welcome to the program Jim Rogers. He's the Chancellor of the Nevada System of Higher Education. It has changed from the University and Community College System to include Nevada State College. And we always like to point out on this program that Jim also happens to be the owner of Sunbelt Broadcasting, which owns KVBC, KRNV, controls Channel 123 in Las Vegas, all stations upon which this program broadcasts. Nonetheless, we will always ask the tough questions. Welcome to the program, Jim. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
Let's start out with what happened to the legislature. Astonishing amount of money given to the university system by the legislature, more than $100 million in projects that weren't part of the governor's budget, and according to reports in the Las Vegas Sun, will help leverage more than $62 million in additional private donations. The comment some people have said is, well, that's great, but what is he going to do with the money?
Well, you know, the list was pretty specific on what we were going to do with the money. It's not that that we initially asked for $100 million and they gave us $200 million. We had a whole list. We went down that list, or the legislature went down that list, and they were very supportive. They funded all of those projects that we had asked for. The only one I think that they didn't fund was the Pahrump Community College.
Well, now, what do you expect in the 2007 legislature with so much that you got this year planning out? What do you think you might come back and ask for in 2 years?
I really don't have any idea.
Okay.
Because we're just trying to sift through all of the bills that got passed. For example, one of the ones that we pushed so hard was the lease purchase bill, because there had always been an exclusion or a prohibition of the system entering into lease purchase agreements for real property, buildings, et cetera, and that was very important to us because we wanted to be able to go out into the public and to be able to borrow money to build things, and then eventually whoever the builder was or the owner was would sell us those buildings. That has all sorts of potential going forward. Dan Claich, who with his staff just did a marvelous job. They were the ones that put all of this together. They worked morning, noon, and night for that 120 days, and I don't think got much sleep. I think Dan is trying to take off a couple of days. But when Dan gets back, he and I will sit down, go through the bills, because we actually haven't seen some of them, and decide how we're affected by that. That is a major, major project, and it'll probably take us 1 or 2 weeks to get through that. Now, let me add to that every 2 weeks we have a conference call that lasts about 2 hours with the 8 presidents of the various institutions. And we talk about all sorts of different things. But I've told the presidents in the last couple of days that at our next meeting we're going to talk only about the lease purchase concept. And that will allow us a whole new method of financing. So what you have now is cash up front by the state for, I think it turned out to be about $257 million, plus another $75 million from private industry. So we're talking about $350 million there. And in addition to that, we're going to have the ability, I think, going forward, to go out and enter into agreements where somebody will come onto a campus, build us a building, lease it to us for 20 years. We'll pay for that out of student revenue or other revenues, and at the end of that period of time, we'll own the building. So you can see that we kind of doubled up on what our potential is. And to ask me at this point what we'd be doing in 2007, I don't have a clue. I can just tell you that things couldn't be much better than they are right now. The legislature really came through for us, and Kenny Gwynn came through for us. He set the stage for all of this to happen, and the legislature was very attentive. They were very supportive and very productive for us. So we're all just delighted.
Well, at what point did you realize that things were going to go your way? Because there had to have been some concern that there might have been some legislators who were going to take a shot at the university system.
Well, I think that was so, but you know, right from the get-go, from the first time that I talked to the first legislative committee, I didn't feel the hostility that I had seen before, you know, where various people had been accused of misrepresenting the status of the Nevada State College, where there were accusations of gross inefficiency, where there were accusations that the Board of Regents was dysfunctional. I thought we had done a pretty good job, and I don't mean Jim Rogers, I'm talking about everybody, had done a very good job during the 13-month period that I'd been there to get things in order, to get the legal problems resolved, to get matters worked out with the Attorney General, and to get a Board of Regents that, quite frankly, was pretty functional back in total function. And I think that the legislature had felt that. That's my feeling. I didn't ask any of them about it, but I think that was my feeling. So I didn't feel any hostility from the get-go. I felt very comfortable with them. We spent a lot of time with them. Our lobbyists just did an excellent job. We had one agenda. We didn't have 8 different universities and community colleges going up there with their own agendas, beating up on each other, trying to get money at the cost of one of the other institutions. And that had always been a big concern to the legislature, because here they have 8 system universities and community colleges and the DRI fighting amongst themselves before, and that's very confusing, and it was very non-productive or counterproductive for the legislature. So I think that everything worked very smoothly. I think Dan Claich turned out really to be the hero of the entire legislative session. He's my hero, certainly. He did a great job. He did a great job.
He did it there.
And all of you know Dan, so you know how good he is.
Let's take a break, Chancellor, and come back, and we've got more questions for you right here on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community. But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
If it's fun, it's here at the Pepper Mill, the $100,000 video-themed slot celebration, with more winners each week, 100 random winners every Monday and Wednesday, and more cash prizes, $6,000 random drawings every Friday, plus chances to win up to $1,000 in free slot play on Mr. Money's Challenge. You'll have more fun with the Pepper Mill's video-themed slot celebration, now worth over $100,000.
The slots that rock are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you winning?
The best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, talking to Jim Rogers, Chancellor of the Nevada System of Higher Education. They'll be getting new stationery. Jim, it's a pleasure to have you here, as always. Wanted to talk to you about comments the governor has made twice now on this program. He does not appear to be a fan of Jim Gibbons at all, and has put your name up as running, hoping that you will run for governor in the 06 race. I've got to point out things that people have said to me already and get your response to them. When you said that you would be the interim chancellor, you said that you didn't want the full-time job. And then about a year later, you said you did want the full-time job, and you took the job. And a quote was that you didn't want to be governor. You said, I'll give you 3 years as chancellor. And now, at this point, the conversation is that you may well run for governor. How do you respond to that?
Where do you want me to start? It's true. You know, on the chancellor's job, I got involved in that. I went in there because I thought it was heavy combat, and I thought that I could straighten out some things, and that after a year I'd move on. But after spending the first 4 months in heavy combat, we got the combat stopped, and then things started to work out very well. I thought we'd made tremendous progress, and I changed my mind. I got down toward the end of the 11th month, and I said to my wife one night, I said, you know, I'm enjoying this so much. I think we've gotten so much done, much more than I ever thought, and I think I'm going to apply for the job. And as you know, at that point, the search had already begun. If I had thought differently, I would have told them long before that, don't bother with the search, or at least I'm interested before you start the search. So it was kind of a last-minute thing. I don't see any real inconsistency with that. You change your mind if the circumstances change. Now, with respect to the governors, you know I have no political aspirations. I never have. Somebody asked me the other day, I think it was John Ralston, about my political career. I said, I think I was the president of my 6th grade class. And that's the last political office that I've sought. I'm not seeking this, but I will tell you that I come from a little different perspective. This is not a elect Jim Rogers because Jim Rogers wants to be the governor of the state of Nevada. This is, Jim Rogers is taking a very careful look at it because I'm very concerned, I'm very protective of education. And I'm not talking about just higher education, I'm talking about K through 16. So if I feel that we're not going to have continued support after all of the success that we've had in the legislature, all of the success that we're having now. For example, let me give you an example. We're starting to have meetings between the higher education system and the Clark County School Board. I don't think that's ever happened in the past, but we understand that it is one education system. It's not K through 12 against 13 through 16. We all have the same common goal.
This is part because of the problem with remedial education at the university system?
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly. But there are a lot of other things where we need to join forces in planning in the K through 12 for higher education. And there are a lot of things, for example, that people get involved in high school and so forth that they finish out in community colleges. Remember that the Community College of Southern Nevada, with 35,000 students, is the 4th largest community college in the United States. So we're trying to bring it all together and have one approach. If I feel that there's some threat to that, if I feel that in the next legislative session we'd have a governor who would not support what we're doing now, who would, and some people think from time to time that the answer to all government is that you can starve people into efficiency, that you can reduce their ability to invest, and therefore all at once they will find another way to become efficient. I haven't found that in all my years of business, which is now a little about 40, 42 years. So I'm very protective of education. That's what I'm watching, and that's what I'll continue to watch as time goes forward. But at this point, Jim Gibbons is running. I'm not running at this point. Is there a possibility I might? Of course there's a possibility, because I don't know what Mr. Gibbons is going to do with respect to his attitude toward education. I have not been very pleased with what he's done in the past, and the rhetoric that I've heard I think has been kind of empty, and so I'm going to watch. But this isn't to try to get me elected governor, it's to try to protect the education system, and I'm going to do that.
Well, one of the challenges you would face if you ran for specifically the Republican primary is, as a businessman, most businessmen and business owners understand they need to support both sides. They contribute to Democrats and Republicans, and you, in your successful career, have contributed to Democrats, Republicans. But the party loyals don't like Republicans given to Democrats, and that's going to be a big stumbling block for you. How do you foresee getting over that and really kind of winning the hearts of the Republican loyalists?
Well, I think you're getting premature on all of that. You know, those questions have been brought up to me before, but, you know, I don't have any group out there that's forming any, you know, they don't knock on my door every night and say, listen, Jim, these are this is where we're going with this. I don't have any of that. I'm not going to solve next month's problems until next month. And I view the things that you're describing to be way down the line. You know, I'd have to decide, first of all, that I think he's a threat. And then what I would do to resolve that threat. And those are things that are going to have to be handled by advisors, and I have none at all. I don't have one advisor. Okay. I have a couple of friends that give me advice from time to time, but that's the extent of it. Okay,
I just want to bring up two things. One, Jim Gibbons heading up the campaign for Education First to be funded first in the university system. And also, as other people have pointed out in this program, when you're the governor of the state, education is just one of the things that you have to deal with. It can't be the only thing that you deal with.
Well, there's no question about that. But, you know, our whole society is based upon, I mean, the foundation of our whole society is education. And everything springs from that. When you take a look at the budget this last time, we got a huge percent of that budget because we have 105,000 students in the higher education system. In Las Vegas, the Clark County School District has nearly 300,000 students. Now, that between just those two is 400,000 students in a state that's got a little over 2.5 million people in it. That's a lot of people that are actively involved every day in education. So it is the fundamental issue as far as I'm concerned. Now, when you get into all of the other issues, you know, health care, you get into the issue of prison systems and all of that. I understand all of that, and that there are many more issues other than education. But at this point, what I'm looking at is education and its pervasive effect on everything we do. So I understand that if I got involved, that it's not going to be a one-issue campaign.
And that's where we got to leave it. You're always welcome back on the program, Jim, anytime. Thank you so much for being here today.
Glad to be here.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, our Power Pundit panel today, Daryl Capurro with the Nevada Motor Transport Association. He's the managing director. Martha Gould, who after many years of being a loyal Democrat is now nonpartisan. We won't even get into that. And Larry Matheis, executive director of the Nevada State Medical Association. Welcome to all of you. So Daryl, did Jim Rogers sound like a candidate or not?
He did to me. You know, as I indicated just before the broadcast here, if anybody stole the paintings off the wall this last time from a financial standpoint, it was the university and school system. So, I would say that Mr. Rogers is very efficient in getting funding for the university system.
Oh, to say the least.
It was a beautiful day in his neighborhood.
Oh, absolutely.
I think as these campaigns start earlier, it is harder for people who are contemplating entering a campaign to have the luxury of waiting. We've front-loaded so much of this now. I mean, it's almost a year before filing. And yet, it's quite possible that we're going to run through several potential candidacies that will never actually make it to filing, just because the cycles have moved, and we've got an awful lot of programs like yours that really do a good job of bringing people out. What do you want? If you've got all these great ideas, then why don't you run for that? I think the Chancellor has all the skills necessary to run for governor and to be a good governor. I think also there's about a half dozen other people that show those skills, and it could be a beautiful dogfight.
Well, you're also talking, Martha, right, probably $8 to $10 million needed for each candidate here.
That's right. You know, the thing that concerns me is, and I listened to Mr. Rogers. I have to call him Mr. Rogers. I can't call him Jim because I don't know him. How much of this money is going to go into having enough instructors and professors to meet the demand of the increasing number of students, and how much goes into building buildings? You know, it's great to build buildings, but if you have students who have to take 5 years or more to get a degree because they can't get the classes they need, something is wrong in the priorities of the university's budget system.
Well, I think you could go from program to program in Nevada, and it's all driven by the growth factors. It's all driven by, we're so far behind every curve that this building program, I mean, this could be the largest building program since the Pharaohs, for all I know. It sure sounds like it. I mean, the two pork bills on the last day did seem to be a huge boon to the construction industry in the state, and that's good.
Which, of course, pours money into the economy. But let me go back again to the same thing. Education is more than buildings. A library is more than technology. And the bottom line is, if you have students who can't get the classes they need because the university system is top-loaded with administration and building projects, then I think you have to take a long look at your priorities.
Big contributors can't put their names onto a test paper. It goes on building.
But that'd be a great idea, though.
As you know, though, one man's pork is another man's meat and potatoes, and of course, I'm sure that we'll find out. Unfortunately, there were a lot of money bills passed that added to the process as far as building, whether accountability is built into it or not. I'm not sure. we're not even
Since
sure
when
what
did
was
they ever
in
put
most of the
accountability in
bills
the
that
bill?
passed in the last few days of the session, because everything kind of grinds to a halt after the sine die, and so trying to run down bills and exactly what did happen both in the final days of the regular session and, of course, our ongoing special session process.
One of the priorities of next year's campaigns really is to look at what has not worked out in the process and the procedures that we've followed. It's going to be a new governor, it's going to be new leadership in the Assembly. There's a lot of new people in major positions next year. They'll be running next year, and they'll be in position the year after. I think part of what they should be addressing during the campaign and be prepared to actually do when they govern is to look at why things haven't worked as well as they should, why we haven't been able to get to more than just the first line of issues, and why the process has broken down so often. I think it's time now that we've had a few years' experience. We've failed in a lot of different ways. We now ought to assess that, and a new governor with new leadership in the legislature, with new positions all across the state. I think it's time to really try to reconstruct a system that works, that has the confidence of the public. A big part of these campaigns is going to be about restoring confidence.
And this goes back to what I said before. People don't, our voter turnout is abysmal.
I wanted to jump in with Randy here, just quickly. There's an opportunity for monkey business right now.
Oh, yeah. No, Larry and I were talking earlier. There are bills that are still not written, and there are people down at LCB tinkering with the bills that passed, and that's a little frightening process.
Well, it's their job. It's their job to try to reduce into proper format and the proper statutory format what it was the legislators meant to do before they went home. And this is a difficult time. I've seen a lot of errors over the years that come in this period, and it takes 2 years to undo those mistakes.
Well, I remember last year they had
this legislative intent.
Yeah, I remember
whether
Townsend.
that gets into the statutory language is questionable.
I remember Townsend was in front of the Tax Commission after the 2003 session saying, "Oh, well, we meant this." They were rewriting the bill a year later.
That's right.
And it's scary to see that's what's so bad about all these high-pressure bills coming at the end.
Well, unfortunately, that's what happens at the end of the session.
And we are out of time. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers right after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, water resources come from fresh, clean groundwater, approved by state permits. The water is pumped from wells to million-gallon storage tanks and then distributed to TRI companies. Another amenity is our investment in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plant. This disposal system converts waste to clean water for industrial applications. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevada.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. For a quick bite and the best sandwiches in town, it's the Whistle Stop Deli. And for the best appetizers and menu selections and a large variety of cocktails, beers, and martinis, it's Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And coming up tomorrow,
Attorney General Brian Sandoval.
We'll see you then.